Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is the long anticipated, at least for me, Q&A for hitting 10K. I told you guys last week that I would be doing a Q&A when we hit 10K. We did hit 10K, and actually today we hit 15K. So I'm recording this on Wednesday, right? Wednesday? So I'm recording this on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. I'm not going to post a video on Thanksgiving because I assume you guys will be busy with your families and eating turkey and feeling sleepy and getting ready for Black Friday, which is what I will be doing, but I will post this on Friday. So on Wednesday, today, we hit 15K. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the real MVPs. You're the ones that make this happen. You're obviously the ones that are here watching this, so I owe you everything. Whether you guys support me through Patreon or support me by just coming to my channel and watching these videos, I love you all equally, and I'm so thankful for you. If you're hearing any weird sounds in the background, it is so windy outside right now. My windows are rattling. It's about 1,000,000 degrees in here because Aiden just jacked the heat up about an hour ago, and I didn't realize that he had done it, and then it just got really hot all of a sudden, so I turned it down. Now we're just waiting for things to come back down to where they need to be. I'm gonna try to get to as many questions as possible. A lot of you gave me questions to answer on Instagram. A lot of you emailed them to me. Some of them were asked in the comments on my videos. So I compiled a list, but it was really long. I think there was something like 70 questions. And obviously I can't answer 70 questions in one video. So I'll do another Q&A if you guys like this and you want me to, let me know. And you all can continue sending me questions if you want to see them in future Q&As. Let's just get right into the questions now. So the first question is, why did you get into true crime and at what age? And this question, or this variation of this question, was asked often, so I just compiled it into one question. When I first got into true crime, it's tough for me to pinpoint. I grew up in the 90s, and a lot of things were happening in the world in the 90s. You had O.J. Simpson. You had the Rodney King trial. You had Princess Diana and all of that, mystery and conspiracies surrounding her death. So there was a lot of things going on, and this was also when things were being put on TV on a 24-hour news cycle, and court TV and forensic files and all of that became really popular. And I was a heavy Law and Order watcher, a seriously intense Law and Order fan. Now I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What is your favorite Law and Order? Because mine was Criminal Intent. I mean, no other Law and Order comes close besides maybe SVU, but other than that, Criminal Intent is where it's at. Vincent D'Onofrio in that show was amazing. Then I started college, and I was a psychology major, and I took 2 classes in college that really got me hooked on, I guess you could say, true crime, but in general, just the psychology of why people do the things they do. So the 2 classes I took were forensic psychology, and clearly forensic psychology is all about crime scenes and murders and, the whole legal system and all that jazz. So that was really interesting to me. And then I took abnormal psych as well. And abnormal psych is just what it sounds like. Instead of the regular psychology of the normal person's mind, abnormal psych is the psychology and the structure and the chemical components of an abnormal person's mind. So your serial killers, your psychopaths, your sociopaths, anybody with a mental disorder of any kind. So that really interested me as well. Both of those things kind of came together when I think it was my second year of college. The guy I was dating at the time, he knew I was into history, and he gave me a book for my birthday, and it was called The Devil in the White City, and it's about the serial killer H.H. Holmes. And if you don't know about H.H. Holmes, look him up. I'll do a video about him if you'd like, but he's basically America's first serial killer. He's America's Jack the Ripper. During the very first World Fair in Chicago in 1893, H.H. Holmes killed a ton of people. He had this entire house that was called the Murder House, and he basically let people stay there who were from out of town and tourists and things who were coming to see the fair. And with all the hustle and bustle of the fair and so many people being there, he got away with killing a ton of people. And his house was basically constructed to be a murder house. There was torture chambers, there was hidden doors, hidden tunnels, all sorts of creepy stuff. That's one of my favorite books of all time. If you guys are looking for a really good book and you have not read that one, it's amazing. I'll put it in the description box. It's got history, it's got architecture, it's got murder and true crime and all of the stuff that I love all together in one book, and I think you'd really enjoy it. Okay, moving on to the next question before my house blows down. Like, do you hear this wind? It's crazy. Where do you work? What do you do? Okay, so I work for Verizon Wireless. I'm a salesperson at Verizon Wireless, and at this point I'm only working about 4 days a week because that's all we have childcare for. But yeah, I sell cell phones and I help people transfer their pictures. It is what it is. I'm getting fueled up to do a 12-hour Black Friday shift this coming Friday from 7 till 7, and I'm super excited about that right after Thanksgiving. I'm not excited about it at all. That's what I do for a living. Before that, I sold cars for a little while. Before that, I was a nightclub manager for a couple of years. But then I had Aiden, and that just became too much with a small baby to be staying up till like 4 o'clock in the morning. But it was a very fun job. And before that, I worked at my dad's restaurant. My dad's owned a bunch of restaurants around here, and I worked for his restaurant for like 7 years. So basically, I've served tables, I ran a nightclub, sold cars, sold cell phones, I worked at a coffee shop for a little bit. I've done everything that you could possibly do. Next question is, what case haunts you the most, and if you could pick one to solve, which one would it be? I think this is pretty simple for me. Obviously, all of these cases haunt me, and I wish they could all be solved, but Madeleine McCann will always be a case that sticks with me, and her face is like always in my mind. I would really like to know what happened to her. And you know, John Bonet is a really tough case to deal with too, but at least we know what happened to her. She's not out there somewhere. Maddie could still be out there somewhere. We don't know where she is. We don't know what happened. There's so much unknown, so much just mysterious stuff surrounding this case that I would really love to know what happened to Madeleine McCann. And I hope one day that I will. I feel like this is something that's gonna like haunt me on my deathbed, you know, like I'm gonna be laying there at 105 years old, hopefully, just dying and thinking to myself, like my last thought that's gonna like flow through my brain is like, I never found out what happened to Madeleine McCann. Like that's how much it just stays with me. So Madeleine McCann, absolutely, and John Bonet would be a close second. Okay, the next question is, what interest do you have besides true crime? Oh, I have a lot of interests. I love history. I love anything that has to do with like science or geography or anything like that. I'm a big, huge trivia crack player. If you guys like trivia crack, please hit me up on Instagram. Give me your trivia crack info so we can play. I love singing. I love acting. I love hanging out with my kids. I love watching them grow. I love teaching them. I'm a huge reader. I love to read. I try to read as much as possible, even though I don't have a lot of time lately for that, to just sit and read. So I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. I use Audible for that, and it's awesome. I love makeup. I love skincare. I love fashion. I would love to go to New York City for Fashion Week. I've been to New York City a bunch of times. It's my favorite city in the world. I love it there, and to be there for Fashion Week would be like everything. I love college basketball. Syracuse University is my all-time favorite college basketball team. I'm a big fan, like diehard. I watch every game. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm interested in besides true crime, but that's one of the big ones. Next question is, what are your plans for YouTube? If it was an option, would you do YouTube full-time? Yes, obviously, if YouTube was an option to do full-time, I would absolutely do it full-time because I enjoy it so much more than selling cell phones. But right now, my normal job does help pay the bills, and my husband says I can't quit until I make enough on YouTube to cover what I'm making at Verizon, which is fine. I understand he's logical and I'm not, because I would have probably quit already otherwise. But I really want to grow this channel into a place that everybody can come to for all their true crime needs and mystery needs, and a really good community. So that is my overall end goal, to be doing this and this alone. Does your husband think of you being on YouTube? What does your family think about your YouTube success? I hit 15,000 subscribers today. That's amazing, considering it was like a month and a half ago that I was at like 780 subscribers. I think the success is that we've found a community of people we can talk to about these things and feel comfortable to talk to about these things. The success is in, creating something that people want to watch and people enjoy and people get some sort of value out of. That's the success that I find. My family thinks it's awesome. My husband's the logical one. He's a Scorpio. I'm an Aquarius. So I'm an air sign. And it's hard for me to keep my feet on the ground all the time. So he helps me to stay grounded. But like I said, I'm an Aquarius and I don't want to stay grounded too much. So he pulls me down enough to keep me centered, to keep me on the path. But I think I also kind of pull him up a little bit and keep him from getting too serious. So yeah, my husband thinks it's cool. He likes that I have a creative outlet. It keeps me happy. He likes when I'm happy. He's been really supportive. As for my kids, Aiden loves that I'm on YouTube, and he thinks that I know YouTubers, and he's always like, can you call PewDiePie and see if he can come over? It's adorable, and so he loves that. And my oldest daughter, Nev, she has a YouTube channel of her own. If you guys are interested in seeing it, I'll link it in the description. She just does a lot of singing and things like that. She's a very beautiful, very talented young lady, and I think it gives us something to talk about and something to connect on, and it's fun. So she's really into it as well. So I think everybody here in this household is pretty happy with YouTube, except for Bella, who hates any attention being taken off of her at any time. Any minute of the day, she wants your attention on her. So she's the only one that might have a problem with it. Okay, the next question is, would you ever consider writing a book, like a true crime or mystery book? I am actually writing a book. I've been writing a book for over a year now. It's called The Duality, and it's about parallel universes. It's a fiction book, so it's not true, obviously, but I believe in parallel universes, or at least I'm interested in them, and the idea of them and the concept that multiple versions of yourself can live in multiple different universes, and based on each decision you make, other you in another universe makes a different decision and takes a different path, so your lives turn out differently because of the way that you lived them. I think that's super interesting, and I am writing a book about it, and I've been writing it for a while now. It's really fun. I love it. It's going in a really good direction, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So when it's done, I'll let you guys know. What, if any, conspiracy theories do you believe? I do believe in a lot of conspiracy theories. I like listening to a lot of conspiracy theories, even if I don't follow or believe them all. But I'm on board with the JFK, Marilyn Monroe, Kennedy family curse, Kurt Cobain. Some of the videos I've seen on the 9/11 being set up by the government and everything, it's creepy. So it's possible. That's the really cool thing about conspiracy theories, is they allow you to look at all these cut and dry situations in different ways. And I think it's a good exercise in critical thinking, to be honest, because instead of just taking what's told to you and just believing it, you look at situations and you form different theories, and it helps your brain think in a different way, and it helps your brain do more than just take in information. It helps your brain process information and basically spit out different information that you came up with yourself. So I do like conspiracy theories, and I would like to do a couple videos on a couple conspiracy theories. So if you're down for it, let me know in the comments. Any advice to anyone just starting out? So if you mean just starting out on YouTube, I have a lot of advice, way too much advice to put into this video. And if you guys are interested in starting a YouTube channel, or if any of you are thinking about it or are kind of already on that path and you're looking to get some advice or some tips and tricks, or just to find out my process, what equipment I use, what I do, what a normal day looks like for me in a research, editing, recording day, let me know, and I can make an entire video about that. But my best advice would be to just do it. There's so many people out there who think about it for months or years, and they don't do it. I did it because I needed a creative outlet. I did it because I was at home a lot with a very young baby who didn't talk. So I didn't have any adult interaction. I didn't have any creative stimulation. I was tired. I was overtired. I felt like I was losing myself. So I started a YouTube channel to get myself back, and I did, and I'm so happy about it. I just did it. I didn't think about it for longer than a week. I swear to God, one day I woke up and I was like, I want to start a YouTube channel. And literally within a week, I was on YouTube. That's how I am. I'm very spontaneous. I don't think very long about things before I do them. Ask my husband. I just do it. But just do it. Don't think too long about it. Figure out what you want to do. Niche it down. Figure out who your audience is. Do something that you love and you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it and you don't love it, people will be able to tell, and you won't get the community that you want because people will know it's not something you're really into. Find something you love, find something you can talk about with to anybody, and then just turn the camera on and do it. And if you guys want to see a video about, a more in-depth kind of YouTube behind the scenes process of mine, then let me know and I will give it to you. Who are your favorite true crime YouTubers and podcasters? I listen to a lot of podcasts, guys. But my favorite YouTube channels that cover true crime, I love Bella Fiore. I've mentioned her before. I love Kendall Ray, Shauna Ray. She's not as well known as the other two, but she's amazing and you should check her out. I'll link her in the description box. And even Dark Matters, I think her name's Kaylee Elise. She does a really good job too. More documentary style, kind of creepier, and I like that. As far as podcast, I don't listen to a ton of true crime podcasts, like not specifically true crime because I have a wide array of interest. I listen to a couple Parcast podcasts. One's called Serial Killers, one's called Conspiracy Theories, one's called Historical Figures, I believe. One's called Cults. That's a good one too. And those are all by Parcast, and I think they have a lot of the same hosts in them. I listen to an Australian YouTuber who does a true crime podcast. He's awesome. Case File. So the podcast is called Case File. He's from Australia. He has these beautiful, rich Australian accent. I could listen to him forever. Serial was my all-time favorite podcast ever. I was so sad when that ended. If you've never listened to Serial, you need to. I'm sure everybody in the world has though, but he covers one case and it's 15 or 16 episodes, I can't remember, but it covers one case from beginning till end. And I was hooked. Nobody could talk to me for a week. People would walk up to me and I'd be like, oh, I have headphones in. Can't you see? Don't talk to me. I'm listening to Serial. It's amazing. It's addictive. You should check it out if you haven't. What else? A couple other podcasts I listen to that they're not technically true crime, but I listen to History Chicks. I listen to What You Missed in History Class. I listen to Lore and Unearthed. And Lore and Unearthed are by the same person, Aaron Mahnke. He has this wonderful voice. He tells an amazing story. If you guys have not listened to his podcast, you need to check it out. He's so good. So good. I listen to him in my car in the morning when I go to work, and it's quiet, and I have my coffee, and it's just my relaxing time because there's no kids in the back seat screaming at me to play Despacito for the millionth time. Oh my God, Aiden, I don't want to hear Despacito anymore. How do you make time for all the research on cases you do? You upload more than once a week already being a lot of work. So what's it like to work on all that content and balance life? It's difficult, but I think I work best when I'm heavily scheduled. I think I work best when I don't have a ton of free time to just kind of, be to myself. I would probably get less done if I had more free time, to be honest. I'd probably just take a nap or something. That's kind of how I am. If I'm not heavily structured and heavily scheduled, I just don't want to do anything. But if there's nothing to do, then I'm kind of the person that's just going to be there's a Harry Potter marathon on USA Today. I know what I'm doing for the next 12 or 16 hours. So it's really good for me to have things to do. How do I balance? It's just making a schedule and sticking to it. And days like today are harder because it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so all the kids are off from school. Bella obviously doesn't go to school, but Aiden and Never here, so I have more people in the house, and that's why I'm recording in my room instead of in the living room like normal. So when there's more people around, when it's a holiday or summer vacation's really fun too, I kind of have to plan a little differently and modify what I would normally do, but that's fine. I can roll with it. And as far as researching, I have a very strict schedule for that because I obviously just can't be with my kids with my face in the computer all the time or just watching documentaries. I have to interact with them, and I want to interact with them, and I want to spend time with them. So I do have a little of a struggle finding time to get all the research in that I want to because I'm kind of the person that will keep going and going and going until I feel like I found everything there is to find about the case. And I'm frustrated when I don't have the time to do that. I wish I had a little bit more time for that. A little bit more time. Give me 5 more hours a week. I'd be happy. That's how life is. You have to figure out what you need to do. You have to make priorities and you have to stick to them. That's it. I make it work. That's what Tim Gunn says. Make it work. Okay, so another person wanted to know what kind of books do I like to read, and specifically YA novels, because I talked about them in one of my videos, the Terra Calico video. YA novels, oh my god, guys, there's this trilogy and it's like a dystology sort of, so it takes place in like the future or a different kind of like world, but it's called the Unwound Trilogy. And I found it when we were in Mexico. I think it was like last summer we went for a week to Mexico, Adam and I did, and I was looking for something to read while I was on the beach, and I found this trilogy, and I like was addicted. So it's great. It's called Unwound, and there's 3 books in it, and it's about, I'm not even gonna tell you. Wait, should I? I don't want to ruin it. It's about like a world where you can't get abortions, I guess, but what you can do is you can choose to like unwind your child when they turn 16. Like if you decide that they're bad, or you don't want them anymore, you can decide to basically like have them taken apart and sold for parts and for like organ donation or something. I don't know. I do know it's dark. I'm trying not to give away too much. I said the books we were talking about in the Tara Calico video were dark, and I was like, what, these YA books are so dark. I don't think I read YA books that dark. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, the Unwound trilogy is kind of dark. Those are great books. I'll put the links in the description box for you. Currently, I'm reading all the Percy Jackson books with Aiden. We read at least a chapter or 2 a night, and he loves them. And to be honest, like there's certain nights where he doesn't want to read another chapter. He wants to go to bed, but I'm like, oh, let's read another chapter because they're so good. Like these Percy Jackson books are so good. They get me hooked. I need to know what happens in the next chapter. Like I like them. They're good. Also, right now I'm reading the 3rd book in the Lady Sherlock series. It's by Sherry Thomas. So this Lady Sherlock series, they're like mystery novels. It's based on like a world where Sherlock Holmes is a woman who basically uses a pseudonym so that people don't know she's a woman, so they take her seriously and they come and like talk to her about cases and things, and she solves them, and she's brilliant. And I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it's amazing. I'm on the 3rd book already, and if a book's weird or doesn't have a very good storyline, I drop it pretty quickly. You can see, and if you look at my Kindle library, there's so many books that I've like started and I'm like 3 or 4% of the way, and then I was just like, no, on to the next. I don't have enough time to read a book that's stupid or doesn't make sense or doesn't keep me interested. So these books by Sherry Thomas, the Lady Sherlock series, are amazing. So right now I'm on the Harlowe of Fear. The Book Thief is one of my favorite books of all time. Anything by Leanne Moriarty is amazing. I loved the Southern Vampire series by Charlaine Harris. It's what the show True Blood was based on, but the book series is so much better than that show ever was. And the show was good in the first couple of seasons till the fairy stuff started, and then I was like, what is happening here? Like, what are these fairies doing here? This doesn't make any sense. This is stupid. But the books are amazing. I have the entire set. I've read them more than once. And a book's good when you can read an entire set more than once. Anne Rice, I love every single book Anne Rice has ever written. John Grisham's amazing. Harry Potter, obviously. I mean, right? Harry Potter's amazing. The Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, I really enjoyed that as well. So I have a lot of books that I love to read, like a lot of books. And if you guys want a separate video on books, let me know. What else were we talking about? Books? Okay. The next question, and this is the last one I'm going to answer today just because I know Bella's about to wake up. I think I heard her actually. But the last question I'm going to answer right now is, the content you cover is dark. How do you not let it get to you? It does get to me, obviously. It does get to me. It does get to me, but I don't let it affect me in my everyday life unless it's something really that won't let go of me, like the Chris Watts thing. That still is with me, and it does affect me in my everyday life. I hold my children a lot tighter, a lot closer. I appreciate them a lot more. I give them hugs more often. I kiss them more often, and I tell them that I love them more often. So I think it actually helps me in my personal life by realizing that life is short. It can be taken from us at any moment by anyone, so you really have to hold the ones you love a lot closer and tell them you love them as much as possible. It makes me really grateful that my children are alive and well and safe, and that, I don't think I'm married to a murderer, but who knows these days? We got regular old guys like Chris Watts walking around completely crazy underneath it, and you can't even tell. They should at least have like a brand on them or something. It's really not fair to the rest of us. But when I am feeling a little like weighed down, music is what I turn to. Music makes me so happy. I love to sing, and singing makes me happy. And my husband always makes a joke that he knows I'm happy when I'm singing, because I'll just walk around the house singing and I'm happy. And it makes me feel better. I don't know what it is about music. It just has this really intense effect on your emotions. So I will get in my car, I'll blast the Hamilton soundtrack. It's my favorite ever soundtrack. It's my favorite ever anything to listen to ever. If I'm in a good mood, it makes me in a better mood. If I'm in a bad mood, it puts me immediately in a good mood. It can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can make you feel things like tremendously. Guys, do you know about Hamilton? You've got to know about Hamilton if you don't know about Hamilton. It's amazing. We saw it in New York City a couple months ago. Literally changed my life. I know the entire soundtrack by heart. If you don't believe me, test me. Give me any song, I'll sing it for you. Beginning to end. I've got you. Besides music, I go to the gym a lot. I like physical activity. It makes me feel better. It gets everything out. I feel like when I'm sweating a lot, it kind of just like releases all the toxins that are in my body, both emotionally and physically. And spending time with my kids is great. If you're ever like in a bad mood, just go play with your kids. And if you don't have kids, go find kids to play with. That sounded so bad. I don't mean just go find strange children that you don't know to play with, because you'll probably get arrested. But like if you have nieces or nephews or neighbors, just go kick a ball around the yard with them, or sit there and like color with them, play blocks with them, build Legos. Not only is it gonna get you to a place where you can remember being a kid and like sitting on the floor and building something with Legos or coloring in a book with an actual crayon, not like on your iPad. It's just so fun to talk to them, and they're like so cute, and the things they say are just so like innocent, and you're like, what? And it makes you remember that there's good in the world, and that there's these little creatures are so innocent and sweet and funny, and they say the funniest things. Like I just talk to Aiden sometimes and he cracks me up. Or when I yell at Bella, like she's being really, really bad and I yell at her and she does this pouty face and then she looks up at me and smiles like, I know I'm cute, you can't be mad at me. Like it just melts all my stress and everything away. And it makes me just so happy in an undiluted manner. Or like when I hang out with Nev and we just talk about boys and clothes, and she's trying on my clothes and I'm trying on hers, and we're just having fun together, or we're going to have tea, or we're just talking over a cup of tea, because my oldest is a big tea fan. It's just beautiful. That's what life's about. It's about being with people you love. It's about experiencing life and the happiness and kind of reveling in the little creatures that you've created who are turning into wonderful, beautiful, amazing human beings. So that is really what kind of allows me to do all these dark things and research all these dark things and then kind of leave it behind. Music, being with my family, working out. Also coffee, carbs, lint truffles. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're looking forward to Mystery Monday. I appreciate everything that you guys do. I appreciate you being here with me all the time. Every video I post, I see the same people in the comments, and I love you for it. Thank you so much. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you're not too stressed out about the upcoming Christmas holiday. Don't stress out. It's a wonderful time, the most wonderful time of the year. And have a wonderful weekend. Stay kind and stay beautiful, and I will see you next time. Bye.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sense.